Today I'm sharing 5 top tips for starting a junk journal. They're beginner-friendly tips, they're budget-friendly tips, and they're things that are really easy to do. So these are the things I've learned when I've been making journals, and I'm at my happiest at my craft desk, so I'd just love to share this with you. My first tip is to make your own journal, but really start small. When I started junk journaling, and by that I mean making and filling them, I made all sorts of different ones, including some pretty small ones with just one signature. I had started my junk journal journey with something a bit more like a glue book, but I quickly moved on to these small journals, which was the perfect place for a beginner. They're not too daunting, they're not too big, and so I was able to finish them, and I just feel that this is the way to get the most joy and satisfaction from your junk journals. Half-finished projects erode my confidence, and when I see them it's quite irritating just seeing them parked on my desk. Have you ever started a journal and not finished it, and how did that make you feel? So I made lots of little ones in different colour palettes. I used different papers in different sizes, but I just used what I had. Like one with an autumn theme, like this, a vintage one, a botanical journal, and well, anything that I felt like. And with each one that I finished, my confidence grew. So a great place to start is this, with a single signature junk journal, bound with string. It's so easy and so much fun. My second tip is about the supplies you use, and my suggestion is use basic supplies when you begin. I definitely get caught up with the excitement of new things, and sometimes I just feel like I need to spend. In the junk journal world though, you can spend on tools, you can spend on paper, you can spend on digital images, on books, on paint, pens and ink. There's almost an unlimited number of things that are tempting to try, and of course new stuff is always coming out. But unless you have an unlimited budget, the time to organise it, and indeed the space to store it, my suggestion is that you just sit on your hands when you're tempted to spend and start with whatever you have. To make a simple junk journal, you really only need some book pages for a signature, and pretty much any page size will do, some string and a needle to bind it, and maybe a trimmer to cut those pages to size. You can use scrapbook papers if you want, and if you have somewhat, a great way to use them, but it's okay to just use book pages. If you watch my channel, you know book pages are my favourite for making a signature, and this can also really reduce the cost. So start with the basics, and when you've made a journal, only then decide what to buy next. Don't buy multiples just because they're cheap, and make use of free things, all that stuff that's around us and is cheap and easy to acquire. I use Amazon packing paper to cover my envelope folders. I splat it with paint to make it interesting, and I tear off pieces for collage. I also recycle junk mail envelopes, and I use these to make ephemera for my journals. If it's made of paper and it comes to our house, it might well go in a journal. My third tip today is to embrace collage. It's a versatile and a really easy technique, and it's something I call a game changer. I use it all the time for making and for filling journals. Collage is nothing more than gluing a piece of paper on top of another, but it's a fabulous way to make journal spreads and also to decorate pockets. Last week I made a junk journal cover with collage and images from an old book. I use it in my journal pages, even the ones that are pre-made. And also my tags, my snippets and my envelopes all get the collage treatment too. So enjoy developing your own collage style, but use whatever you have. And if you'd like some collage inspiration, then try my collage playlist. I'll leave a link to that in the video description box down below. Which brings me nicely onto ephemera. What is it and what should you make? Ephemera in the context of a junk journal is all of those things that we glue or add to a page, like the pockets that go on a journal spread and envelopes that flip out. Making ephemera is arguably more enjoyable than making a journal. When you discover the basics of making a pocket, you may never want to leave your craft desk. I make botanical tags from book pages, adding texture and stamps and sewing around them, and I cover handmade envelopes with collage to give them colour and texture and appeal. The joy you get from making ephemera is a great reason to begin your journey. It's truly addictive, it's relaxing, and you get to upcycle your scraps. To answer the question of where to start, I suggest with envelopes, pockets and maybe tags. And you can make all of these without any special tools, just with book pages and some glue. I'll leave a link to some videos to get you started in the description box below. My favourite pocket is this large one made with maps and sewn around the sides, but start simple, have a go and give yourself time to learn. My fifth tip is probably the most important, and it is to find your own style. Enjoy what you do, don't criticise yourself, and allow your likes and your own style to evolve. It's so tempting to see someone making something and then want to repeat it like for like. But we all have different supplies, we have different skills and preferences, so honestly, just have a go and do it your own way. YouTube videos are here for inspiration, so there's lots that we can all share with each other and have fun. So make that pocket with your supplies in your own way and adapt it to be what you like. What matters most is you begin. Start where you are, do what you can, and these are my 5 tips for how to begin.